Okay, so this is Enspeak here in Space Engineers. There was a bug report about a bug in power consumption, and I'm trying to illustrate that there is no bug. If there was a bug, it was fixed. Because the engines seem to work as they always have now. There may have indeed been a bug where the didn't matter how many reactors you had on it, only one would show up, or it would overload for some reason, but that doesn't seem to be the case now. There's that engine up there. So what I'm emulating here with these is two ships that the original poster had as examples of a problem. I'm emulating them to some degree, not exactly. I'm not going to spend time building the exact same ship when I don't need to. The issue is power consumption. The number of blocks don't impact that in-game. A medium cargo container is not going to impact that in-game. So I'm not going to build them. What I understand, this is the ship that he, similar to the ship that he built, his test ship. It has 6 thrusters, 1 in each direction. You can see, up, down, left, right, backwards, and forwards. Now his complaint is that this ship will overload when you go forward full thrust with initial dampeners on, and then you try and turn or do something like that, because the inertial dampeners will kick in. And my answer to that is yes, and that has always been the case. And this is to emulate the style of the thruster configuration for his, quote, carry-all ship. The carry-all ship that he has 4 engines pointing down, 4 engines pointing up, 4 engines pointing back, 2 in the sides, and 2 in the front there. Now that is assuming that he's using that it's symmetrical, because I only see one side of his ship. So he says he has 4 engines on there, but in his screenshot there's only 100 kilowatts of power. So that would, to me, would indicate that there's only 1 reactor, or if there are 4, only 1 is working. So we're going to test this out. This was all built in survival just now. Let's get that. See, I'm at 64. It's been a lot of energy putting into this. And these are good to go. I need to put some uranium in these, and then I will first recreate the... Oh, I need to put a gyro in this. How could I forget a gyro? That's number 3. 3. Get a gyro in there. Alright, let's do that. Get that in there. I've got to get some construction components. And some... what else? I'm out of steel plate. More steel plate. I need 5 more of those, 3 more of those. Okay, let's go get that. But I'm trying to convince the guy that his system works. It works. It's just the way it is. This is the nature of the system. The values for the power consumption of engines hasn't changed for I don't know how long. As far as I can remember, I don't know if it's changed since the beginning. It might have, but it's certainly been what it's at for a very, very, very long time. And I've been playing this game since it was first released. Oh, I'm going to take... No, I can't take all of that, can I? I'm going to take... What? I can't access that. Do I not have... Yeah, I do. Okay, I need 3 of these. Since I've been playing back in November of last year, maybe if it's changed once. It certainly hasn't changed recently. So, I'm not sure where he's coming from. I haven't played survival in a little bit because I was playing multiplayer survival, and then the multiplayer stuff kind of got a bit jacked up, so I stopped playing. I've just been designing ships and stations and the like. So this is my first time in survival for a bit. So if there was a bug regarding the reactors, that's certainly possible. My point is it doesn't exist now. What did I do with that uranium? Did I bring? Oh, I didn't go get it. Silly man. Let's go get that uranium. Let's see here. Where's that reactor? Usually that reactor's back here. Did they move it? It's on the side. That's a change. Is it? Has it always been there? Maybe it has always been there. It's been a long. Like I said, it's been a long time since I've been in one of these. No, I guess it's always been here. Perhaps. Okay, let's take one and split it up between these things, so it's 0.25 to each. And then we'll do this test. Because I'll tell you what's going to happen with one of those reactors on. It's going to overload, because that's the nature of the system. It's just the way it works. It's just the way it works. So we go in here. When I'm talking like this is, I guess, my new Space Engineer's character. I don't normally talk like this. But I'm going to do it, because, you know, who knows? Maybe I'll make a character based on this for Space Engineers series or something. But anyway, let's put this in. We got reactor. We got 4 reactors. We'll do 0.25 in there. 0.25. Plenty of power for this test. Alright, they're not connected. I have to do this individually. So used to working with a conveyed system. I mean, I could have done that with this. Could have. But again, this is just to test a power output, and I didn't want to waste the time doing that when it's not necessary for such a test. Because I can tell a guy, I mean, you mention it to him, and that there's actually only 100 kilowatts of power. He insists there's 4 reactors. But that's not the way the reactors work. If there were 4 reactors working, and I'll show that now, it will show you in the HUD there by reactors 400 kilowatts. Now this is what his screenshot says. He's in you know, he's external like this. He's got it off to the side. He's got the tab up, and that thing shows, if I turn these off, that 100 kilowatts of power under the reactors in that lower right HUD. I don't know what to tell him, because that's just the way that goes. Now if I try and lift off like this, I'll tell you what it's going to do. It's going to overload, because you have 33.6 kilowatts of power on just regular thrust from each reactor. You have from each thruster. You have 4 thrusters down here. That is 4 times 33.6, which is over 120. I think it's 134, something like that. I figured that out earlier. But that's what that is. That's more than 100. So of course, it is going to overload. That's just the way it's going to work. That's the nature of the system. Now if I go in here, if I even turn on, say, 1 of those other reactors, I go back here, that figure changes to 200. Now I lift off, there's no problem. It overloads with the inertial dampeners, because the inertial dampeners fire the opposing thrusters at roughly 150% of the normal thrust, which means each of these thrusters is firing at, I believe it's 50 point something per thruster, but it's over 50. Just maybe barely over 50, but it's over 50. So power usage is going to overload with a 200 kilowatt system. That's just going to happen. Overload. That's going to barely overload it. But if I go in, activate reactor number 3, let's do that now. We got 300 kilowatts. Now if I do that, none. But let's see what happens if I go forward and to the side, and then overload there. And that's because if I do this, and I guess it depends on, see, I'm going forward and down. Now to counteract that, I gotta fire now 6 thrusters. These 4 down here and these 2 up here. What that's going to do, that's what, 6 times 50 over 50 is going to put it over the 300. I think it's 50.4, 50 point something or other. But it's over 50, just barely over 50. And 6 times 50 flat is 300. So it's going to overload that. So if you have 4 thrusters going, you're covered. Because 4 thrusters, let's see what this does. Yep, same thing, forward and down, disengage that. You go to 75%. And you can see at idle, it is just at 0.01%. Now the bug that I read about, which may have been legitimate, was that it was constantly running at 60 to 80%, and that may have been a bug. That may have been a bug, but that bug does not exist anymore. If there was a bug, it's been fixed. So that's this. This is to match his carry-on machine. Now his test bug ship, as kind of a reactors shouldn't work this way. And okay, you can say that, but that's a suggestion and not a bug, because it's worked like this for as long as I can remember. You go here, do that, overload. Go forward, to the right, stop, overload. That is again just the nature of the system. One reactor is too much to handle firing 2 of these in inertial dampening at the same time. I turn that off. I'm not going to have that problem because the inertial dampeners will never kick on. It's a little harder to fly, but that's just the way it is. So that's the nature. This is to disprove that there is a bug regarding power, or that there has been a change regarding power. If I forward 33.6, what is that, 33.8? 33.6? Okay, let's just stop perfectly still here so I can get an accurate thing. 33.6. That is what the wiki says it is. The wiki hasn't changed in some time with regard to this, if it's changed at all. And on dampening, let's see if we get that. It should go to 50. 50.4. That's what it is. 50.4 is the dampening for a small thruster on a small ship. So you can see just by that, just by looking at that, what that means is 50.4 times 2 is 100.8. That is over the amount that the engine can handle. So hopefully this will disprove that, and we can get to worrying about some actual bugs rather than this, because this is just, an engineering issue and not a bug issue. Now you can say that maybe reactors should be more powerful, that you should be able to have a simple 6 thruster ship and not have it overload with dampening, and that's certainly something you can request, but it's not something that you can say is a bug, that a change, or that it's been changed. It hasn't changed. This is the case, and it has been the case. And I rest my case. So, yeah, I gotta find a name for this character. It's kind of a cool voice. I've been living in New York for too long. All right, that's it. Hope it was educational. I hope this puts to rest that issue. Probably won't. This guy seems, doesn't want to look at the math of it. And, you can lead a horse to water, you can't make him drink. And that's the word for the day. Adios.